What's up, Raki Jutsu? Today we're going to learn how to play Selena. We're going to learn about her emblems, suggested emblems, equipment, spells, and tips, of course. For the emblem, it is the custom mage emblem, and we max out agility. We also have observation for maximum penetration, and magic worship for additional damage. For the equipment, we have the first set, Demon Shoes, for mana regeneration. And then we have Calamity Reaper. So this is if you're going to function as an assassin. And the next one is Berserker's Fury for an additional critical percentage. And Blade of Heptases. Okay, so when you attack, it's going to have extra damage. And the two options, you could go for Endless Battle, you could go for that, or you could go for defensive items. Or with the last item would be Blade of Despair for an additional damage, so if you're going to be a full assassin. So the second set is still Demon Shoes for mana regen because, yeah, she consumes a lot of mana. Clock of Destiny is good for her for a full support. And then you have the Lightning Truncheon, so that you would have splash damage when you hit an enemy. Then an additional magic damage with Holy Crystal. And to multiply your penetration, your magic penetration, is with Divine Glaive. Winter Truncheon for defensive item. Last, if you are going to be a jungler, you need to have the Star Shard. And then Arcane Boots for magic penetration. A little bit of healing after you kill concentrated energy. Then a must is Calamity Reaper. Then Holy Crystal for additional magic damage, and also the Lightning Truncheon, of course. As for the spells, I would highly recommend Flicker because yeah, she dives in, so that's an additional dash out, flicker out. Yeah, it's very useful when escaping. So if you're very sure that you would want an additional burst damage, then you would go for Execute. Alright, and Execute is very useful if you do the combo after you basic attack, then Execute. So next one is if you're going to be a jungler, then Retribution, it's a must, together with the Star Shards. And if you would want Flare, classy, then go for Flame Shot. To support the channel, you know what to do. So this is important. So at the start of the game, immediately press to change form to Abyssal form so that you can run. Okay? And then immediately press it once it's cooldown. Now you have to press on the equipment, go to Jungle, Items, and then get the Hunter's Knife. Okay? So this is, the purpose of this is to kill the blue buff as fast as possible. Now, put an Abyssal Trap on that spot. Okay? Press the change form, so Abyssal form. Okay? And then once it's cooled down, change back to Elven form. And once you have changed that, click on the Abyssal Trap. Okay? We have to wait for it to cool down. Alright? So that we could place another Abyssal Trap over that trap, and then immediately press on the change form, so Abyssal form, then press on Soul Eater. Alright, and then spam basic attack, and then that's it. If you, this is the purpose of this one, is to kill the blue buff under 40 seconds. So that was 37 seconds. Now let's talk about her skills. She has two forms, the abyssal form and the elven form. So the elven form is her first form when you start the game. Alright, you have access to the abyssal trap and the abyssal arrow. So every time you change forms, you have to take note, all of her skills will cool down. Alright, even if it's going to be like 8 seconds or what, the cooldown of her ultimate, which is changing the forms, it's like 3 seconds once you're level 15, or at higher levels it's always capped at 3 seconds, so it's very useful to always change form. Now her first skill when in elven form is the abyssal trap. Now the purpose of the trap is you can place it anywhere and you would gain vision of it, so use your imagination and where you would like to place it, like at that spot. That's a very good spot because you would gain vision of the red buff. And that's not all. The abyssal trap, once an enemy steps on the abyssal trap, they would get slowed, and then it would explode in after 3 seconds and would leave a mark. Okay, so it would leave a mark. We would discuss on the mark a little bit later. Her second skill when in elven form is the abyssal arrow, and this is very useful if you want to stun the enemies longer. So the longer the range, the farther away the enemy, the longer the stun duration is. And also, if you have like an abyssal trap in front of you, it will carry the abyssal trap with the abyssal arrow and immediately marking the enemy. Now when in abyssal form, you would gain access to Soul Eater, which is her main damaging skill. So this skill would consume a mark. Alright, any attack when she is in abyssal form, it would consume a mark, dealing an additional magic damage. And then her second skill while in abyssal form is garrote. So every time that you dash towards an enemy with a mark, this garrote will do damage and also cools down immediately. So imagine if you're going to hit a lot of enemies with a mark, so you can dash unlimited times. So with that said, her basic combo is to make sure that you stun an enemy with an abyssal arrow together with an abyssal trap to gain the mark, and then change to abyssal form, dash garrote forward to the enemy. Just make sure that you hit the garrote so that you would have a dash out. Alright, and then before dashing into the enemy, make sure you press, or make sure you have already activated the Soul Eater, so that at least you would have like 2 Soul Eaters cast towards the enemy, and then you can dash out. So things to remember: the abyssal trap is to gain vision towards the enemy, and also you could use it along with your abyssal arrow. And to target efficiently with the abyssal arrow, use the minimap, because you would have that targeting system in the minimap and you would see the enemies. Okay, and then always change forms, and don't forget, if you dash to the enemy with a mark, the garrote would immediately cool down. Thank you for watching. Itadakimasu.